Welcome everybody. Melvin, Samantha, good to see you guys again as well.
Good to see you, Rob.
The We're
Good
going to go
morning.
over some things that the industry is changing at a rapid pace. The trends are changing. I've done a lot of due diligence. The three competitors I'm going to talk about, I'm actually a member of now officially. So I've been through their sites, I've been through their stuff, I've been through. So if you have any questions that I can't answer, I can certainly get the questions on them. But we are still. I think the Kat and I were talking about it yesterday. I think that as a company, that we are still the most flexible in what we do company out there. And I even went on to compare us with these companies. And it's so weird. They would say something about the company. Like one of them had said that this company is better to create urgency to get a home for sale. And I'm thinking, hold it here. What's going to create more urgency? A home at full list price or a home that's 10% below market value? So even the AI and it's still confused until you go through and straighten it out on there. But so anyways, I'm going to go ahead and anybody have, do me a favor, Michelle, if you can kind of monitor the chats and go, if you have something about these three companies that we're going to talk about today, if you have any more in depth, anything that maybe you've tried using them, maybe you know something different about them, let me know. The same thing on the trends that's going on. And also we're going to talk about a lot about, and Melvin, this should probably concern you as much as anybody. We're going to talk about Compass. Compass just bought Realogy, and Realogy is now the Great West American real estate company, but they are the proprietary owners of Century 21, Remax. They have, I think, when I ran the numbers, they now are 69% of all real estate companies. And they're pulling some things that should frighten us as real estate agents. So we're going to get into it in just a second. So, anybody, again, my mother died. It's been a month ago today. So that's why I've been out of action. I just, for all of you that have mothers, trust me, bless them, talk to them more than I thought that I had talked to I used to love my mom, was always too busy to talk to me. I used to love it. And now I is like, oh man, I should have called her more. So, that's all I'm going to say about that. But I appreciate a lot of you guys know, and I appreciate your friendship, your text, and even some time alone and granting us this time. But I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to all of you. You're just what I love about our proprietary members is that we legitimately care about everybody else. And I just, through my mom passing away, it's been rough. So I just appreciate your friendships and your words. So that being said, let's go ahead and hop into the presentation here. Oh, okay. I guess you got give you some time here to edit. Let me go back into here.
Oh, that's actually a good time for me to emphasize. Robert a few moments ago was saying when you search into AI, it gets things wrong. We should not take for granted what that means because what are sellers doing when they want to look something up? They're going to go to Google, they're going to go to Bing, whatever they use, and their search results going to show them the AI generated result right at the top. So if we're not proactive in getting the message we want out there, what we actually can do, and why we're not what AI might tell you about us, the consumer's not going to know any better. But now you've got it loaded, Robert.
All right. Anyway, and when we start talking about the trends, I think we're gonna start understanding a little bit more about what is going on inside the industry and what you need to do to exceed this year or succeed, excel this year. So anyway, we're gonna be talking about the trends with the real estate. We're going to be talking about the competition and that we have and the future of the easy real estate. So I'm going to just go ahead and slide. I'll be sending that. Kat will be posting this presentation somewhere, right?
Yep. I'll link it in the show notes.
All right. So, has everybody heard? Well, I guess in no sense an answering, but Compass recently completed a $1.6 billion stock merger with Anywhere Real Estate, formerly Realogy. So, if you take a look down below, Brands acquired Coldwell Banker, Century 21, Sotheby's International Realty, Corcoran, Butter Homes, and Gardens Real Estate, and ERA. And there's even a couple more in there. I think Remax might have moved themselves out of it and through this plan. I don't think they wanted to do. But the scary thing about Compass, now that they are 69% of real estate companies, they're becoming the real estate bullies. And when I mean about real estate bullies, that when we start to, they are active. If you take a look at a company is leading a push to challenge the traditional role of the MLS rather than a standard merger. Compass is actively bypassing the MLS through strategic partnerships and legal action. Anybody want to take a guess who the strategic partner is?
BlackRock.
Anybody else?
Rocket or
Rocket,
Rocket, and Rocket is Redfin, right?
yeah.
Rocket.
So, and why are they bypassing the MLS? Because the MLS rules make it very clear to represent your seller, you must post it so that everybody gets to see the for sale. So, by them actively bypassing the MLS, what is that going to do to the industry? And the reason why they're doing it is because they want to sell both sides of it. By keeping their own listings and their own private loop longer, Compass agents can capture both the buying and selling side. Can anybody tell me how does that represent the sellers? How does that represent the buyers? By making everything proprietary?
So I was at
On the
Compass
other,
until about 6 months ago. I'm happy to chat about what the dialogue was like internally and what the pitch was to the sellers about why. But I don't want to derail your presentation. So
well, now let's get into it. Have at it.
when and Compass is pretty new in Maine and had only been in New Hampshire for about, or at least Portsmouth for about 3 years when I joined about, I guess that was about 2 years ago. And the private exclusives were great for Compass agents in Boston. And the pitch was that, hey, we can withhold this as like an exclusive listing, almost like the line outside the nightclub. You know, you keep the line around the block and people are going to want to go, and you get inside and you're like, why is there a line? Well, it's like the perception of demand. So for super high-end exclusive properties, I think maybe there might be a benefit to the seller to try to get more without having any market exposure because the buyer feels like they're getting an exclusive look. But by far and large, I don't think that serves the masses without having that full exposure. So you're right; it's self-serving and probably does more harm than good. Maybe it might help the buyer see some hidden inventory that they may not have access to otherwise. Although since Compass is the cause, that's kind of a double-edged sword. That being said, yeah, it's wild what happened. That the acquisition was announced like literally the day after I left. It was kind of funny timing. I think that their reputation is obviously hurt, and it was already hurting before within the industry. It'll be interesting to see now that they have that much control what happens. I'm sure they'll lose a bunch of agents that don't like change, and I'm sure it'll be a clunky transition over the next 5 years. But yeah, man, everything's changing so fast with AI and just what's ethical and what's going on in the world anymore nowadays anyway.
Travis, what absolutely, you know,
Yeah.
upsets me
Yeah.
is that that's not the purpose in having a real estate agent to be self-serving and represent yourself.
Could not agree more.
By making everything transparent, by making it public, by giving everybody a fair chance to get that home. Because believe it or not, 8 years ago, I got a Century 21 friend company that was trying to do the same thing.
Sure.
And a good reason to leave the company because you're not doing what you're licensed to do. If we really care and have the fiduciary responsibility to our consumers, who now do we have the fiduciary responsibility if we go to work for Compass?
I think one of the other aspects too was having your home on the market and while you're living there is so invasive that I think as they're getting ready for the listing, or if they said, hey, if we could sell this for X amount without having it on the market and having all these showings and an easy sale, maybe that's a trade-off for some sellers that they might see some benefit in. It's not always about getting the highest dollar. Sometimes it's ease or quick speed or whatever. So while I agree this does not help the industry as a whole or serve every client, there's unique situations where that might be appropriate or more advantageous to the seller. Um,
Yeah, and that's probably less than 1% of the market. That
Probably a very small segment, but that certainly gives them
and again,
the
so I come back to our
yeah.
system, and my thing would be to if an owner really wants to do that and you want to just not have the hassle of leaving the house every 5 minutes of doing, why not price the home, put it on our site from Thursday through a Monday
Yep.
at that reduced price and let the public decide what it's worth.
I think if you're going up against a Compass agent on a listing appointment and they say, well, Compass has this private exclusive where they can get it in front of, half or two-thirds or whatever it is of the industry, before, to see if there's another buyer, I guess my question is my simplest response to overcome that objection would be, well, what's more important? An easy sale to a Compass from a Compass to Compass agent, or full market exposure to all the buyers to really know that you're getting, as much as you can for the property. I mean, if
Hey, Rob.
I just came up with a tagline for that. You want an easy EASY that's not going to net you as much, or you want an easy platform?
I
So,
like it. I like it.
Hey, Robert.
so anyway, but this is something that we need to be cognizant of. And here's what I love about this stuff that's going on. And again, the bully is turning around and suing the MLS too, on top of it.
Robert,
So, yes.
this is Brett. I have a little insight on what their strategy is because um, they're starting in title to upward title. So my buddy is now the regional manager for them, and their whole strategy is they're going to put it on Rocket and those first. So it's exclusive. And then for like a week or 10 days, all the leads are going to go directly back to the listing agent. And then as they get fines from the MLS, they're just going to turn around. Rocket's paying those fines, and they're going to turn around and sue the MLSs. And that's their whole strategy, is to get it from start to finish. They're going to capture the the title side, the real estate side, and Rocket's going to start doing the mortgages, etc. I mean, they're blatant. They're just out, like you said, they're bullies. Here's our plan, and here's what we're going to do. I mean, he just spelled it out for me.
And I'll tell you what, you guys. So as we listen to all these people now, that as this stuff becomes a reality, and obviously it's become a reality at a huge clip down there. What a marketing opportunity we have. And in Ohio, we have this real estate company called Howard Hanna. They've been implementing the same thing in Ohio. Hey, if you don't list your home with us, it's not going to sell. Nobody will sell it. We're the only company that'll take it and list and get it sold. It kind of the same thing. So that's why you need to list with us, because we'll sell it through Howard Hanna. And people would say, well, my understanding from Howard Hanna is that we're going to get blackballed and can't sell our house. This stuff has been going on forever in the industry. And it is a huge, huge, huge thing, because now the bully on the block just bought over 60% of real estate companies. But all of these things that we just talked about, my wife is famous for saying, take the negative thing and make it into lemonade. If you're not thinking of marketing stuff with and competing against Compass, because Compass is saying by the end of this year, they will be controlling 76% of all listings. That's out of their mouth, not mine. Well, you know what?
My question is, seem like they would be opening themselves up for antitrust exposure, not being fully exposed, fully exposing their clients to the market. So I think they're setting themselves up. So they're gonna get the listings and they're gonna do the loan and have the title. So I don't know how far that can go.
Well,
Now I
you know,
used to I used to be with Village when I owned ERA offices. And I pretty much know how they work. The fact that they are combining themselves together, that's going to be something that I think that they're gonna up on something. That I don't think that the government will go for that.
and
What's your
I
thoughts?
completely agree with you, Melvin. But when you have 61% of the market share, that's going to make a difference. So what we need to do is we need to start advertising about what we do for the consumer. And this everybody that put in a word about this, moving into this next slide tells you exactly what you need to do to compete against this nonsense in the industry. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and slide on here. We're trying to keep this into an hour, you guys. It may go a little bit longer, but I hope not. So, Kat, do you have anything else you want to say about this?
No, I guess just if you guys missed it, I think back in December there was an application for a class action lawsuit. So the lawsuit's been filed, but they're looking for class status against Zillow, not necessarily for antitrust in and of itself, but the capture within Zillow and all of its sub brands and umbrella companies where consumers were going through Zillow to say they wanted to look at homes and they were being fed through a system with like automatic opt-ins where you had to uncheck the box saying that they were interested in what would really be Zillow's loan products, mortgage products. And so there's that lawsuit against Zillow for kind of keeping it all within one roof without the consumer necessarily understanding that they're not going to get competitive rates necessarily if everything's within the one house. So, I mean, Compass and Rocket might end up in a similar boat. It just litigation justice takes the scenic route, takes some time. So, that's it.
Taking the scenic route. Love it.
It does.
All right. So I did a lot of extensive research over the last while I was in my pity pod about my mom, but stayed on a computer and was trying to take a look at what do we need to do as agents and also as a company to excel and what are the trends through 2026. So this is stuff that you can run, you can run it through Google, you can go through the NER stuff, and it all boiled down to these simple points. Is that, and I'm going to go ahead and read the top things because it's important. Real estate agents in 2026 are trending toward authentic personal branding, hyper-local expertise, and building in public to cut through the AI fatigue. Focusing on look at you marketing, which highlights community members and just as your real estate agents. So I think we can all agree that AI is great for a lot of things, but it's also not great for a lot of things because it's taking stuff that's posted on the internet. And I'm going to give you a for instance, and this is kind of a personal thing. This is one of my bothersome things about Google. So I have two sisters. We were, and my mom had had a stroke, and she was in the hospital making miraculous signs of recovery at a quicker pace than normal. And then they moved her into a rehab place, and a couple of the coworkers had pneumonia and came in, and everybody on her floor, the seniors, ended up with some kind of respiratory problem. And anybody that's had pneumonia understands that after having a stroke, it's a major thing. So my sisters and I have operated under the two-thirds rules. If there's one of us that have a disagreement, whatever, if the other two are on the same page, and we just go with that thing. So we were talking about hospice care, and the hospice lady came in and did this pitch on why we needed to stay inside the same insurance thing. Instead, my sisters they went off about that they couldn't do it anymore. They basically talked the lady into putting my mom into hospice. Well, everybody knows in hospice that you do that, and that's saying that's the end of your mother. She's not coming back. So back to now, where does this translate into this? Where did my sister get all her information about hospice? Because my mom was still at the point where she could have recovered and maybe made a full recovery out of the even with the pneumonia, she's had a chance to recover on it. Well, the hospice lady assured my sisters that my mom would be getting their objective was to send my mom home healed and back to normal. And that's not what hospice does. They make everybody comfortable. So my mom went into hospice, and needless to say, one morphine treatment, she was gone. She never woke up from it. But I was so upset at my sisters. It's like, where did you two get your information from about what was best for mom? Google. And I want you to think about that from a real estate that consumers are going to Google, think they're getting great content when they're not. Go back to when I was comparing us to some of these companies down there, and they're trying to tell me things about the company. And when I would fight with them on the company, all of a sudden they would change their mind. Sellers, buyers are starting online. They're listening more to Google than they're listening to an AI, more they're listening to you. You want to turn your real estate life around this year? Stop using AI and start talking to people. Start advertising, start sending out postcards about that you're a real person, that you know the area, that you're the expertise. I have a way I can sell your home and not charge you a commission. I have a way where we legitimately we can sell your home and seller only pays 1%. There are so many ways to market what we do, you guys, and give the sellers flexibility on the way that they want to sell their house, which ultimately leads to making them more money. You're not going to get that marketing stuff from anybody else but us because everybody has a reason why they can't advertise that we can. You got it. We got to get back into talking to people. You want to start doing stuff in your community and you want to be that pro in that community and you want to make sure that they understand that you're a real person and this is what you do. Why is AI wrong about what your price is worth? Why is Zillow? How can Zillow's price go up and down 15 times in a month? So we as individuals and as a company are coming out with some stuff that are going to help you market and go and whoever you're marketing to, that you're a person, not AI, not content. And this is why they should use you. It's going to be credibility stuff. All right. So, does anybody disagree with what this is saying? Or do the majority of you agree with it?
And I think AI is moving so fast that it's hard to predict. Started using Claude a few months ago, and like almost it seems like every week, but sometimes every day they drop a new feature, something changes. So I think it's important to keep on top of that, but also not lose that human connection. I just, it's going to be interesting to see what it does to technology. You got normal people building apps, in one day that would have taken a developer a week to do or longer. I don't know. But it's absolutely wild the capabilities and how fast it's going. So while I agree with you wholeheartedly that human to human element is crucial, I don't think anybody should sleep on AI or ignore it or not learn everything they can about it in whatever free time that's important to dedicate to it. I think it's going to change everything a lot faster than we think.
And I completely agree with that. But you know what the difference is between a consumer looking up stuff on the internet about real estate and you? Start thinking about that.
Yeah, I guess it's insight. It's a lot of insight and 25 years of experience.
Yeah, so and that's where I'm telling you, we use the people that are licensed can use it to help sell. So what we need to do, that becomes back to the personal you. AI fatigue is real. And like I say, for me, it's BS. I went in and then I started fighting with search engines about no, that's not what Easy does, blah, 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 blah. It changed its mind that quick. So if you guys are telling them that you're using AI to for market trends, that but you're also using the human element that figures into figuring out prices, that figures out contracts, that figure out who the right buyer is. It's you've got to use AI with the license, not vice versa. You got to start, they're looking at things online that aren't true. And for me,
Right.
I go back to my sisters and hospice. What a BS thing to have to go through when it's a lie. And I know that real estate sellers and, especially, unfortunately, my generation, which I'll be going away pretty quick. But I am so tired of people looking at the internet thinking they understand and they are the professionals when they're not. And so the whole point in all this thing isn't saying that AI isn't going to keep going, AI isn't going to get better. We got to make it work inside of what we do and why we're the professionals that ought to be helping you navigate through the AI stuff. Because we do know the market, we do know how to sell, we do know the contracts, we do know the laws about stuff. So whoever said that, thank you very much. That is absolutely beautiful. Anybody else?
Yeah, I think I mean, this is kind of what I'm seeing right now as well too. I am having to essentially fight against like with the advice that they are receiving, right? But whenever it is that I'm able to explain my side and I actually show them, hey, like yes, you are going to utilize AI for that. I completely understand that, but what if you prompted it this? And if I'm able to give them like a text or even an email, hey, cut, paste, and copy this. This is my strategy. Put it into AI and see how it goes against whatever strategy it was that you found, right? And then ask it to go ahead and present a success rate. Maybe that perhaps, right? Like I haven't received any data back yet in regards to that, right? But like perhaps that maybe that's a way to combat what it is that we're experiencing right now with with the way that consumers are utilizing AI and essentially trying to replace professionals.
Exactly, Ace. Thank you. The bottom line is, you guys, some of the things we're going to be talking about at the end of this presentation, we'll be using AI to market and to drive, sellers and buyers to you with a purpose. And so there's a good thing. We can take all this lunacy information that's being out there, we can combat it with several things, and we'll get into that a little bit later. So, all right, so we're going to move on here. Okay, so I am now a member with Hardcore Auctions. Everybody knows Hardcore Auctions. They've been around forever. So they just started a where you can list your home. It's still an auction. They have, we'll go through their fees and their stuff down there. But anyway, here I go with stuff and yeah, again. But there's differences between all three of them. And as I go through each one of them, you should be able to, hopefully, you all understand the easy real estate, what we charge, what we do as a company, that we're more flexible and we're cheaper. So hardcore auctions. So I signed up for that 10 days ago. And so they get an upfront fee required to list property and lost the it's kind of a way to look at it would be a technology fee that a lot of the auction companies charge you. And it's not a percentage, it's state proprietary. So in Washington, it's a $999 fee. And I think the cheapest one I found was Utah was $499 for the administration fee. That's before you ever list, before you ever do anything, before you ever put anything on the site. And then
Would you
they got
repeat the fees again?
$999 for just this is just the technology fee.
Okay.
If whoever's doing that, they can mute themselves. That'd be awesome. Down there. And then they'll list your home for a nominal. There's another administration fee that's determined by the amount that the house is listed. And then they require you to buy and then do some marketing program that what they're trying to tell us to do is get the sellers to pay it, and it's minimal 2,000 to 3,000. It can go up to $5,000 for the one listing, and then they have an auction fee, a sale fee. If the property sells on or within 60 days, it's 1% of the auction fee on top of that. That is generally paid for at closing, but you're also paying an auctioneer fee to list it as well. And states like Utah, there may be a specific auctioneer fee. And for Utah, the auctioneer fee was $1,805 US dollars to consider. So Harcourt's got a lot of. I think they're more in competition with the concierge auctions, which was Sotheby's. They've got a lot of, and those are the people that seem to they don't mind paying these fees up there, but you're going to pay every time I was going into something else, there was another fee, there was another fee, there was another fee, there was another fee, another fee. Bottom line is on it, they end up being probably about, because they're collecting the 1% also, plus they're collecting an auctioneer fee. They're probably 5 to 10 grand higher than us. And a lot of that's got to be prepaid. The auctioneer fee has to be prepaid out of the gate. So that $1,805 for the auctioneer, you pay that up front. That doesn't come out of the 1%. It doesn't come out of anything. The $2,000 to $3,000 marketing fee. They're expecting you to go to get that from the sellers. Any questions on Harcourt? And
Okay,
by the
so
way, their
that's how it
marketing
is that
stuff
they can get
sucks.
away with calling it an auction site versus us, right?
Yep. They are a legitimate auction site and where they got a reserve and everything. But they're trying to move into the smaller properties. I don't know why. Why would I pay all these fees? And not only that, the highest bid wins, period. May not be the best terms.
So then, like, what markets is Harcourt prominent in?
I thought they've been around for a while, but they're more of an auctioneer company than I believe that more of the consumers that are listing with them just go straight to them and list it with them because of paying all the fees. And like I say, for me, it didn't make any sense. Even for a luxury property, why do I want to pay all those fees? Sotheby's, you remember Sotheby's? Like a 15% buyer's premium added on these $1 million homes, and they took our site,
And you still had to pay the realtor fees.
and you had to pay the realtor fees on top. So Harcourt is not a competition to me. We offer way more flexibility. Kat, you want to say anything on Harcourt?
No, but I think it's always important to, like, when you're on listing appointments and beginning, because remember, if you guys follow the method that Robert teaches, you're not going into the explanation of how this 0% listing commission works over the phone or in Starbucks the first time you meet somebody. You use that curiosity well, let me come out to your home. I'll explain how it works. We'll look at the property, and that's when your explanation would happen. I wouldn't shy away from the benefits of an auction. I think it's actually valuable to lean into the psychological benefits of what an auction can do, but how this platform is flexible in that you don't have to accept the highest offer. You can accept, reject, or negotiate at any time. But your buyers, if we follow the sciences and the math behind this, the backbone, they have that feeling of, I'm not going to miss out on this house over $10,000. I can see what somebody else just came in at, and I'm going to go and put in a counter offer. So while we are not an auction, and it's important to distinguish ourselves from that rigid structure of a transaction, I think we adopt the greatest things about an auction.
Great. Thank you. Second one was final offer. And again, unless you get the pro, you are not they're not making everything transparent. So they are for the pro package $229 a month, and or you can do a $999 per listing up front to put it on. You're not negotiating, you're not doing anything. You're taking each offer proprietary by itself and explaining to the site. It's kind of doing the same. They say they offer transparency, but they also have a a buy now button on the listing. So you've got that, and you've got the you've got other things you got to pay for. There's $300, $325 for their marketing tools with SEO and same stuff that we offer for nothing. You have to buy that to get its billed by the year, and it was about $3,500 for that for the channels and the marketing stuff and their marketing stuff too, you guys. It was good, but it's not staying up with current stuff. It's just the old lay of the land. The other thing too is they are one, their thing is listing it at market value, but they have that buy now button where the seller is committed to selling immediately using the buy now option, but they're listing the home at market value. And this is the company that instead it creates more urgency. And my point back to with the AI, when we are listing the home, and I put just 10% below market value, how is final offer creating more urgency? And that's all I had to put in, and it switched it back over that we were a better company to use because we had many ways to market the home. We could do it with you can't use a buyer's premium in final offer. It's got to be the seller's got to pay the commission on top of it, and they're taking a percentage too of each of the transactions. And it was depending on the tiers of prices. Anything below $200,000 was more. Anything above $1 million was less of what they took out proprietarily on there. And I put down there the pricing strategy. The reason why I put that in there is because we spark by listing the homes the way they do it with the buyer's premium. It's giving that flexibility, and this came right out of Google. Is that our company promotes bidding wars, and comparing all three companies with it, that's one of the things that AI agreed on without me fighting anything about it. Kat, do you have anything else you want to say about final offer?
I would say that final offer, in my opinion, is doing the most like outbound type of marketing, like big buck advertising. So it would be my guess that if a consumer sees something on TV or in an advertisement that sounds like, oh, I saw something else that sounded like that, final offer might be the one I would expect consumers to see in branding the most. So that's probably a good one just to be familiar with and why it's different. Because it's not just we're going to create a bidding war for you, but the way we price it and the fact that we offer the option to use a buyer premium model opens up your buyer bucket pool. It's not just about increasing the visible competition. It's allowing more buyers to have options where, hey, with a buyer premium, I could do something like a rate buy down. Or we could be in the running for this home without you, Mr. Seller, having to do a traditional seller commission because we can get creative with the buyer through a buyer premium on some of the lighter repairs that you don't want to touch up before you actually list your home. Right. And that's a huge advantage that I think maybe Robert can put that in his own language, but I think we all need to practice and get comfortable pitching because the benefits of easy real estate platform to the buyer translate into benefits for the seller in that there will be more people competing for the home. And I do think a lot of these companies, especially Final Offer, they're really systems as a service, simple tech platforms with a linear transaction pathway. It's one box. And they're really pitching to the agents because they're making their overhead fees by getting the agents to sign up. And though they say there's benefits for the seller and benefits for the buyers, I don't think it's quite as fleshed out or as flexible as what we're building and continuing to try to improve here. That's my soapbox.
Very well said. So okay, so this last one, I'm not even sure how they're staying in business. And they're the newest on the block. I mean, I checked them out, and this is actually something for all of you to know. Adam, this is the platform they were using before they moved over to us. And one of the things Adam said, they're not as sophisticated as we are, that they don't follow through on things, and they were still trying to figure stuff out. Well, one of the things I found out by signing up 2 days ago is they're still. I talked to 5 different people, and I finally got in touch with the manager to find out what the real fees were on Home Sale Plus. They don't publish a static percentage on what it boils down to. They use the buyer's premium model, but they are taking a third of it. If you sell it for 6%, they're going to get 2%, you're going to get 2%, and the buyer's agent's going to get 2%. If you were to use a 3% buyer's fee, they're going to get one, you're going to get one, and they're going to get one. So the premium gets split up between the 3 parties, and it's not negotiable. And then they also have a platform fee to cover the cost of technology. And again, it depends on the price of the house. And I got anywhere from $1,000 as much as $2,500 for that platform fee, the technology fee that has. So I don't consider them competition. They're the only ones that are using a buyer's premium model in there, but why would you want to split that buyer's premium by three, two, two, and two? So I think you understand where we are as a company. The other thing, we don't have technology fees and all this other garbage. You don't pay anything until it closes. So the last thing that I think is tragedy for the sellers that put stuff on, when a buyer wants to go make an offer on a home, they have to put up $2,500 on a credit card before they can make an offer. And if they don't win the offer, they get credited back that. How many buyers have you guys represented that are willing to pay a $2,500 fee to make an offer on a home? Anybody?
I think in years past, I could probably have produced a long line, but in this market, probably not quite as many, obviously.
Yeah, I don't know of any buyers that want to pay that ever. And I mean, I've been doing this a long time, been doing the platform for a long time. Yeah, I can't imagine that a buyer is going to want to put $2,500 up where it's actually charged on the card. You
Well, and
know,
there's two issues here. It's the idea of if you're already tight on funds and you're looking at multiple homes, but feel like you want to at least put in an offer here to start negotiations on one, you're pretty interested in the property. Now becomes a very serious commitment, and a lot of buyers might not have that liquidity. The second issue, and I think it's a totally different type of friction, is how many of you have seen an advertisement about a product or a software, you're reading about it, you're like, oh, I want to sign up for it. But as soon as you get to the screen where it wants you to enter your credit card information, you have some second thoughts and you're like, I don't really want to enter my card though. That's a different type of friction. I think it's a pretty serious type of friction.
Absolutely wouldn't trust it.
And it also seems
So,
like you might not get it back. Like some people are worried that you might not get it back even if you don't ultimately decide you want to purchase this home.
And
so
I gotta tell you something, you guys, after talking to these guys, they're not very organized. If I were actually looking to list a home or you have a buyer to buy a home, I mean, I'd be skeptical on all of it. Somebody was trying to say something. Go ahead.
yeah, like some of the pressure points that I experience over here down in the Texas region, well, specifically Houston, Tyler, Texas, which is about 3 hours north, Corpus Christi, which is about 4 hours down south as well too. So it's a pretty big spread. Is that it's difficult even to get the buyers to even jump onto the platform, right? So like if it is that they have to pay 2,500 to get on home sales, plus if it is that they're not even really willing to jump onto the easy platform, um, like I don't foresee any success over there on the home sales plus.
Yeah, completely agree. So, I always hated bringing this stuff up. It's like, what knucklehead would bring in his competitors and talk about all three of them? Because in the reality, maybe they have something that's better than us. I don't see it. Everybody knows that I've been doing this for 12 years now, not 11. And I've sold millions of dollars worth of homes using this platform. What I love about what we do is that we represent the consumers. We're the most flexible company out there of any of these. I'd put our company up against any of them and we will yield better results. If, let's say that for advertising, using the 0% up as low as 0% concept, remember you're saying as low as, that doesn't mean you're going to do zero. Using the 1%, the 1% listing fee made Redfin who they are. You guys got to start thinking, what does this for my marketing? How hard is it going to be for me to go out and get listing appointments if people know that I'm flexible, I can work in the parameters, I can do whatever you want, Mr. Seller, but let me tell you why that this is the way it works. Frank Macri, I like it. Hey, this is the way it is. You don't like it? We'll just do it traditional. But you got more flexibility with us. You're not paying upfront fees with us. Our marketing and a website now I would put up against any of these. And we are going to create a lot more marketing stuff around the trends and around the AI and around the other stuff, the plug and play for you guys to start advertising. And I'll be doing it myself as well. So in the Seattle area. So anybody want to say anything about this before I move on to the next slide? All right. Very good. All right. So what this slide is, I'm not going to go through it all. You guys should know this stuff here. Basically, this is what AI says that we are. This is what Google's saying we are. We're a transparent multiple offer system. Kind of like that. Agents use a real-time visible bidding platform that eliminates the highest and best guessing game. Transparency builds immediate trust during listing appointments and encourages stronger and more competitive offers. It's a self-generating lead site. Why is that? Because we're pricing homes below and buyers are coming in droves. Okay. Comprehensive marketing toolkit. Again, this is AI saying this about us, and our marketing is going to get better and better and better. The platform provides plug and play marketing materials, including social media templates, listing presentation scripts tailored to attract sellers in the 2026 market. Gamified experience. Kat, you should love that one. Many
Yeah, I love
consumers
a good
find the
gamification.
Yeah, many consumers find the real-time bidding events exciting and fun to watch, turning a traditional high-stress transaction into an engaging event. And how does that
Yeah.
work for our 20 and 30-year-olds?
Yeah, like from a gaming generation, yes. The question I was gonna have actually, like it was, how does the older generation perceive that terminology?
You ever
My
been to a casino
generation,
during the daytime?
well, but also too, at some point we'll sway back into a seller's market. I like to see who I'm competing against. I would love something that I know exactly what I need to offer to win, to get the price. So even old guys like gamified stuff, and also, if you guys, the Quinn Greenlee, if you watched his buyer, he double-sided. He had a buyer testimonial. I'm not losing this house over 10,000 bucks, and she ended up over 20,000 more than her budget was, and she had to be in her 60s. But that's what happens with the with our site as well. The buyers.
Well, one more thing about Quinn's buyer. She actually leaned into her agent experience. She said that because of the transparency of the platform and being able to see all the offers, not only did she not want to lose the home, but she's bought several homes before where she worked with an agent, and she felt comfortable doing this one without an agent because she could see everything. So, I mean, I think that's, kind of goes to the sentiment Ace was getting at, that her approach to from her agent experience got her to the same outcome as the younger gaming generation.
Awesome. This so that the buyer's properties are often priced 6 to 20% below to accommodate the buyer's premium model. You guys that run into resistance, it's because you're not explaining. I had a talk with an agent yesterday who, by the way, just closed another deal.
Woohoo.
But he was talking about that, talking to agents about the six, about the buyer's premium, and she's trying to tell him it's a bait and switch by using a buyer's premium. And again, I'm going to go back from a sales point. Don't just start talking about the buyer's premium. Ask questions. The first thing that comes out of my mouth, would you agree that this home is priced 6% below market value? And they're going to say yes, or they're going to say no, right? And if they say yes, then, well, we took that into my seller took that into consideration to cover that. If they say no, then you got to go back and you got to do some work. Why? Well, why do you say that? And I can't tell you how many times I have hopped on Zoom with my properties and they're trying to tell me that I was 10%, that when I was 10% below price, that was the market value. I can't tell you how many people that we went back on the Zoom, turned on the MLS, have at it, let's go. And I let them put in their search criteria and show it. And I'm going to tell you, I have won every single one of those conversations on there. So the buyer's premium model, yeah, a lot of buyer's agents, but why do they not like it? Because they know how you got the listing, so they're jealous. And again, where does that come into play? Hey, you can use this too. I got this $5,000 seat I'll give you for nothing. And you can get trained and you can do this too. How would you like that? And it's about value and it's what's in it for them. But my point back, the agent that was telling me this was constantly telling them how the platform worked and selling them how the platform works. Never asked them why they objected to it.
Hmm.
You've
Well, and
got
one
to
other thing
have,
I would say, if a buyer's agent has an agreement with their buyer already that's promising a certain percentage to them, that would get eaten as part of that 6% buyer addendum. So let's say they're getting 2.5%. it's not really a 6% increase on the price. It's that 2.5% that your buyer was going to have to pay for you through a different channel. That 2.5% just translates into what their cost would be through this purchase sale agreement. So it's already half the battle would be overcome by if there's an existing buyer broker agreement with the buyer. And like, I think agents, that would turn the conversation on its head that this method gets you paid. It's not going to make you forego your commission because your buyer has to come up with 6% for something totally different. Because I think that's the heart of some of the buyer agent objections. They already see that they're going to put their buyer in a tight spot and have to consider getting rid of their commission to make the deal work. And that's not the case.
Very good. Yeah, the last thing to say about a buyer's premium, auction sites and other things, it's got to be paid with cash. How do we get paid for how did the buyer's premium get paid? Through our company. We're running it into the purchase sale agreement, right? The price of the home. So that commission's being changed over to a 30-year. And don't ever forget the story about my buyers after the NAR settlement happened. When I explained to the school teacher that now I needed to work out a commission agreement with her, and she couldn't afford nothing. Yet in this model, when we can take that commission and roll it into the purchase price, she would have paid me 10% if I wanted it. So don't ever forget that story as well. Last but not least, on the easy real estate part, and again, this isn't my market. This is right out of Google, you guys. Creative, because I don't even use these. Well, like gamified experience, that is not my lingo at all. Creative financing power, that's not my lingo at all either. You guys remember I went to San Diego State.
So it's flexibility.
Creates flexibility. But what I love about it is what it said, the easy buyer premium can often be rolled into the mortgage, which helps buyers preserve cash for closing costs. The structure sometimes can even pass standard lender caps on traditional seller concessions. And think about that, you guys. Any of you that can't explain the buyer's premium, wouldn't that be important that you're to know the agents to know, like, hey, we can even utilize this to help your buyers with preserving cash? Maybe they want to paint the house at the end. Maybe they want to pay off credit cards. We're the only ones that can do that. And it's not that they're not paying for it, but they're stringing it out over 30 years. And if you remember back the spreadsheets of what a 1-2%, well, it was costing them, it was nominal. And they got to preserve cash and leave it in the bank if they wanted to, or pay off bill, or doing whatever they needed to do. And what did that do on top of it? Increase their buying power, which means they can afford a more expensive house. These are all the things that I do by asking buyers and sellers questions. And when we come back through it, let me explain to you about what this platform does. Let me tell you about it. But I'm doing it by asking them questions. What's your objection? What are you worried about? And then trust me, by the end of the conversation, they know all this by the questions that I ask them. What agent would say that a buyer's premium is a horrible thing, considering what it can do for their buyer and what it can do for their representation as the agent for that buyer? They should be excited about a buyer's premium. But if you are afraid of it, you can't have a conversation on it, I'm going to get the same phone call I got yesterday. I'm getting objections with the buyer. It's a bait and switch. It is the farthest thing from a bait and switch of anything that we do out there. And we've got a year's worth of trainings that we talked about this in different fashions and different ways over the last year with the Monday and Thursday training sessions. So, all right.
Sounds like a
Anybody
role
have,
play for next Thursday.
what's that?
Sounds like objections role play on the table for next Thursday.
My favorite thing. You ready to do that, Kat?
Let's do it. I think you guys would be down. Let the chat decide. Let the group decide.
Chat, if that's what you want, if that's what you... Hey, and by the way, as long as you give me some time, I'm willing to role play with anybody one-on-one. I can be a curmudgeon or I can be the easiest buyer, seller, agent in the world. Or I can be all three. Oh, I'm down here. So anybody else have anything they want to say about the platform versus the other ones? Well, I hope everybody's thinking about marketing, about the funness that they can have by utilizing the site. And you guys got to start thinking about, we do represent consumers better than anybody out there. The 1% that's coming to the platform ought to be coming out of the transaction, not out of your commission. We've talked about several strategies about how to work the buyer's premium. We've talked about several ways to explain the buyer's premium to an agent, to a buyer. It gives them more buying power and flexibility. All right. Well, okay. Next slide. All right. So I'm going to kind of turn this over to Kat now. We are coming up with some credibility websites for you guys, and she's the ultimate person that knows how to put things into technology. So Ace, when you talk about, well, what does that do to the old people? The old people pass it on to the younger people. So I've passed this chore on to Kat and Z, Sean, about helping you guys about making some stuff that you can compete and utilize the marketing materials at a much better with a credibility website. So that being said, I'm going to stop the share and I'm going to turn it over to Kat.
All right. So first, we'll say that we're hoping to get this out of the development stage and into production implementation. But of course, with any feedback you guys may have before we have Zishan build the final design from what we have now as a prototype. So, first goal, what I think would be the most critical missing element in getting you guys to be able to start or scale your marketing is, I think everybody on this call is capable of printing out some postcards with a 0% offer and getting them sent out to whatever list you want to send them to. But then you run into the hurdle of, all right, well, I'm either going to get a phone call or I have a real estate website. And if I put that link there, they're going to get to my regular real estate website. And it's not going to align with the offer that's on the easy outbound marketing that I'm doing. So whatever it might be that you might include some type of marketing for 0% listing commission, a mailing campaign, a link in a social post, a link in your email signature that somebody clicks because they see they're a seller and they see that they could sell their home with you for 0% listing commission. We want to create credibility sites for you guys to land those sellers who see the 0% commission. They want to know, how does that work? They haven't raised their hand by calling you or asking you outright, but they just want to learn more. And this will end up being a 3-page website, not one landing page, where you can put in your about, your contact information. And we're also going to include the seller net calculator, where they can start imagining their own numbers and what their outcomes would look like listing with you. But our goal here is, if we take Robert's somewhat of an explanation, right? He wants to gatekeep certain things on how it works until he has the face-to-face appointment. But if we can get enough there that addresses the initial, like, what is this, 0%? Is this a discount service? And we get not just Robert's language and how he gets to the appointment, but also get you guys working in the Alan Hazard story. So you'll be able to incorporate Robert's social proof as an example of how this easy listing option works for sellers. So the reader, the audience starts to get a taste of, somebody's actually using this. A seller has done this. They liked it. This was their outcome. These are real numbers here. And it's taking it off your plate from having to get past the awkwardness of explaining somebody else's success story, right? I think we've had some feedback. People seem to struggle with incorporating the Alan Hazard story into their own presentations. Well, if we get it in this credibility website, I think it'll queue you up nicely to start doing your net sheet presentation when you do get the listing appointment. So, and I don't know if it's easy for you guys to see, like if you guys can read it, if you want to slow it down and go through the whole thing. again, it's just a prototype. This is not the working credibility site that Zishan's creating, but it's to give you a display. Obviously, it's our brand colors. We would swap out your brand colors. We would put your picture here. We are pretty much going to require that your picture needs to be on one of these credibility sites because we want it to be personable. We don't want somebody landing on a link that you sent them that you probably already have your face on and getting to something that seems generic, that seems like they're signing up for a system or a software. They are signing up to work with you, the easy agent, who can offer them a third option, because most sellers feel stuck between two options: hiring an agent and wondering what they're going to have to pay in commission, or trying to do the work themselves, and it ends up being a lot more work than they expected. And you've got this third option. So we're not framing this as the only option in listing with you. You can offer both. I don't know if any agents on this call offer a sort of flat rate. I know some agents do. Some agents do a flat rate service where I'll work with you to put it on the MLS, but I'm not going to give you my full professional services. I don't know if any of you guys offer that, but if you do, our marketing is not going to exclude that option and make it seem like you don't offer such a thing. We're also not going to exclude that you could take this listing traditional if the seller meets with you and wants to work with you, but doesn't want to do the easy platform. And then these call to actions, when they're set up, would take them to the seller net calculator. And that page is just going to be simple. They plug in their numbers, and in seconds, they see the difference between selling what they think their home is worth without the 0% buyer premium option and with the 0% option. And the way they'll look at that is, for me to get that outcome is I'm going to hit this contact button to contact Travis, because it's Travis offering me this option, not a software company. So this is just a quick preview of what it looks like. Really, if you guys want to give me feedback, does anyone on here feel like they'd be uncomfortable having a story like this as part of the credibility site that you would be using, or would you embrace it? Do you think this is preferable to have this in front of the seller who's clicking into your marketing?
I think
I think it's
great.
amazing.
Yeah.
But where does the link go? So if they click it, does it then send us an email, a text, or that's my question.
So the way for us to keep it something that can be template and replicated for everybody, we're going to do two different packages for how this works. With standard, you'll have your contact page, and we can embed anything that you want to embed as long as you do it during your initial implementation with us. Like, you've got to provide something to us where you would want something to go when someone contacts you. Additionally, if you want to do like a premium and pay for like a difference in the cost of service, we would create a backend access login for you guys where you could actually go in and customize, add your own stuff whenever you want to. Again, we wouldn't recommend changing the core content too much. If there's anything we see overall it's not working and we want to overhaul and make a change to the entire template, we would reach out to all of you guys and say, hey, we are implementing these copywriting changes to our credibility websites. Do you want your template to be updated? And we would wholesale do that to anyone that opted in. But as far as contact, my basic recommendation would be a contact form. But if you guys are using a CRM where we could embed a form that you guys have created from your own CRM, if you provide us the code for whatever contact form you create through your CRM, we can embed that on your credibility site. And whenever someone fills out that form, it should go to whatever destination you guys use. So
Joy, I think the answer to the question, they come back to you. They're not coming in through us and then going to you. All the leads come back to whoever owns the site.
Yeah, so either whether you guys want to set it up as a contact form where you get an email notification that somebody fills out a form that it's not really a form that's connected to any CRM. It's a form we create and set it up so notifications whenever someone fills it out get emailed to XYZ. Or Joy, let's say, what CRM does someone use on here? Just like a generic
Follow-up boss.
Follow-up boss. Okay, so you've probably gone in and created a simple form in Follow-up Boss before, right? I would imagine. No? Most CRMs have a way for you to create a forum, and you'd really just want simple fields like first name, last name, property address.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so I would say we would want two from you. We're going to want one that's just a generic contact form where someone can say they want to speak to you, or even set up an appointment if you want to send a calendar link. anything you provide us that we can embed on your credibility website, we can embed it for you. And however you've set up the notifications that you've created on those forums, you'll get them however you prefer. But what I'm thinking is underneath the seller net calculator, we'd want a form that you guys would create that has a street address field, because under that calculator, that's where people are going to want the expert opinion on what their home is worth and if the 0% listing option is available for them, right? So you'd want them to give the street address at that point of conversion. For the contact page, we would want a form that's just, hey, we're going to capture their first name, their contact information. If you want to include like a preference on phone or email contact, whatever you include, we can embed that. If you don't want us to embed something that is connected and created in your own CRM, what Zishan would then ask is, all right, we're going to use a standard contact form and you're just going to get a simple email notification when somebody fills it out. I think Zishan can speak more to that capability, but I think we want to keep it simple. If we're providing the contact form and you guys aren't giving us something from your CRM, we don't really have a simple way to get into your CRM for you and do the integrations. So for that to happen, we need you guys to create the forms that you'd want and give it to Zishan at the time of setup for him to make sure it's embedded when he sends you over the finished credibility site.
Yeah, and I was gonna say part of the of doing this, you guys, is we can do a Zoom call with you and help you create the stuff with any CRM and that. So trying to make it nice and simple. Go ahead, Kat.
No, that was it. That was it. And some agents work really well with, they want the simple email notification. Others, if it doesn't go into their CRM, they're not going to see it. So it's kind of more of a self-discovery, like what type of agent, what's your best productivity? And if you want to take the option where you provide something for us to embed, and that would make you the most productive, you make that call and get the proper information to Zishan for account setup.
Sorry, Kat, to interrupt. Just one thing I want to add. I mean, I'm available on Zoom anytime for the help to create form on CRMs or get help on embed. So anybody need help on embedding the form or creating the form, I'm always available on Zoom. So maybe we can share an email where we can connect, or to make sure we can easily connect for Zoom or anything for this process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. So does anybody have anything else that they would want inside of this? Now would be a good time to say it. The other thing too is, we're going to pay for server space and developing. We're going to be creating marketing content to go around, hopefully give you a marketing plan that you should be marketing based on the trends in our plug and play stuff that'll all be included. This is going to come with the cost. It'll be nominal. But one of the other things that you guys always know that I do is that I will give you a way to get it for free on top of it. So that being said, is there anything else in there that you guys would like to be in part of the first setup? Are we on the right track?
You're on the right track.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. As long as we
You're on
can
the right
get
track.
confirmation of who's signed up and who's interested, that's the main thing.
Yeah, and I see even the marketing stuff, I know it works because I'll be doing it too. We've already got a certain amount that we know, but we're going to be moving into some of the trends for 2026 that sellers, buyers, consumers are saying that they want. And we're going to try to create marketing content around that and give them what they want. Flexibility, a real person that knows what they're doing, providing the best real estate service of anybody out there because we're so flexible and transparent.
I forgot one feature that we want to incorporate in these websites. So it's partly because the way I did this as a visual, just to show you guys, I haven't built out page depth, so we don't have like the menu to any subpages. But we want to include an option for you guys to have a blog on these credibility. They're going to be very sophisticated credibility sites, not just a one-page lander. If we can get this blog, and you can label the button whatever you want, but blog. And what I thought about doing, I'm one person, but if I write seller facing consumer content for our public website, for Easy Real Estate platform, not the content that's written for you guys as agents, but what goes on our public facing blog, and it's content for a seller who might be thinking about selling their home and is exploring options for selling their home, I can create a feed and we can license that content to you guys as part of the package that you'd be paying for these credibility sites. So whatever that ends up being, but you guys can have that content syndicated to your credibility pages. Because again, it'll be written as if the seller is the reader of that blog content and that specific category of content. We can give you the license to syndicate to your own easy credibility agent websites. And I think that would be a huge value add. And I'm actually wondering, because we could set that syndicated content, it wouldn't be the thing that comes up in search results. Google's going to know that the original publication was on the Easy website. But I am wondering if AI search results will start associating your name from that website with what the content's being discussed. So just like Robert did these AI searches, like what does Easy Real Estate platform do? I'm wondering if eventually this will start saying, if someone Googles Bonnie Ard Easy Agent, what does that mean? If AI will start giving those responses, blending the information from the credibility page and that blog content syndication for Bonnie's name. And if that's something that would play out that way, I think that'd be incredibly, incredibly powerful. All without you guys needing to create your own SEO on purpose, if you will. Because this isn't an SEO site, but I think it could trickle over. Yeah, I really think so.
Kat, do you think, if we send out postcards to people that you could put a QR code on there that would send them to the site?
That's the goal. So
Okay.
this credibility site, and we might do other variations of credibility sites, and they would be standalone, right? These are going to be like, think of this as something that you'd want a seller who saw the 0% message to land on, right? Because you never want to send out a postcard that's like, my buyer premium features can bring more buyers to your listings. If you go
Right.
out with that message and they land here and say this, it might still sound good, but they might be a little confused. But anything that you would slap on that, are you worried about paying a commission, or do you want a listing option that you don't have to do everything by yourself, but you don't have to shell out big bucks to an agent either? Anything that's that messaging relating to the 0% USP, I think this credibility page would be an appropriate place to link them to. So
Okay. Yeah.
same thing. Email signatures, you guys, imagine just putting in an email signature. Ask me how I can sell your home for as low as 0% listing commission. They click and this pulls up. So,
And one of the things that I'm going to tell you that as a company we're talking about, AI right now is so easy to manipulate. These
yeah,
credibility websites will be utilizing that until obviously they'll change it at some point to drive them into a self-facing agent responsibility website. As much we have more flexibility than any other real estate company out there. And we start doing the blogs around the selling, buying homes, transparency, proness. Right now, we've got an opportunity like nobody else probably till the end of the year to help you do that. And that's another thing that these blogs, with these RSS feeds, by putting them on your site, I do believe they're going to generate a lot of, if you just do some of the SEO that will be helping marketing through the month. And we'll be changing SEOs as we're going to, but right now AI is so easy to manipulate, it's ridiculous. So I want you to keep that in the back of your mind, being that we know that as a consumer, being that we have the most flexibility, being now we know who our competition is, being now that we know what our consumers are looking for. Trust me, the content's going to be based around that, flipping AI to where when people are starting to do searches, we pop up in everything. So a lot of thought, a lot of technology behind this thing, and I'm looking forward to it. That being said, I appreciate everybody. We went over by 30 minutes. I hope the content was worth it to you. Uh, My phone number, I'll give you, I think you all have it on this call. What's that? Anyway, my cell phone is 360-286-3103. And feel free to call me with, I'll answer as much as I can. If I don't have the answer, obviously I know where to go get it from Kat or Zishan. But we will be unveiling this over the next, I'm assuming next week, Kat, maybe 2 weeks. Definitely before the end of April.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've just got to put it onto an actual livable page. And I'm going to want to tweak it. Like when I do copywriting for something that has to work for multiple agents that have different personalities, like it's really like this huge, like it's like a landfill of information and words and ideas. And it takes so long to deselect what to put into this. So it's really been a long deselection process. And once we get it on something workable, I'll probably want to tweak the language a little bit more, and then I'll turn it over to Robert to turn over to you guys.
Yeah. And the other thing is too, if you don't know about the blog content, the other thing that while flipping the home and dealing with my mom, gave me a chance to go through our website and see the content, compare it with other people out there. You guys, we got a great website. The pathways to get a question answered can go so many different directions. Kat's blogs, all the stuff in AI that's coming up are from Kat's blogs. And now that we're going to be putting that onto your credibility website, it will draw traffic to you. And yeah, there's a benefit with being certified. And we'll get into that as well. You are the certified agent. It's a very small percentage of real estate agents. Why on earth wouldn't we advertise that?
And you can offer the option that others cannot.
So, anyways, all right. Well, so anyways, I appreciate everybody. Have a good week. I am now going to officially go and watch the Masters tournament. My phone's on. If you need something, let me know. And thank you to everybody for showing up. Kat, thank you. Michelle, Zishan, thanks for showing up. Joy, good to see you again. So
Good meeting. Well worth it.
awesome. Appreciate you, Frank. Tom and Shelley, hello. Long lost people in my life. So, anyways,
Hey guys, thanks for everything.
you're quite welcome. All right. Talk to everybody later. Thanks.
Okay, bye.